Daddy. Daddy, wait. The child's voice cut through the Grand Lotus Hotel lobby like a knife through silk. Heads turned. Conversations died mid-sentence. A small boy with brown skin and wild curls broke free from his mother's grip, sneakers squeaking against marble as he sprinted toward the elevator bank. Toward a man who had just pressed the call button. The stranger turned. Sharp jawline. Expensive charcoal suit that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. A thin scar traced from his left cheekbone to his jaw, the kind earned, not given. His eyes, dark and calculating, swept over the running child with a cold assessment of someone used to threats coming in unexpected packages. Daddy. Kai crashed into the man's legs, wrapping small arms around knees that might as well have been steel posts for how rigid they went. Silence dropped like a stone into still water. The man, Jae-hyun, looked down at the child clinging to him. 5 years old, maybe 6. Those eyes, though, wide and bright and impossibly familiar in a way that made his chest tighten without permission. Who taught you to call strangers that? His voice came out rougher than intended. Kai. A woman's panic shattered the moment. Kai, come here. Now. She rushed forward, dark skin flushed with embarrassment and something else. Fear, maybe. Amara grabbed her son's shoulders, trying to pry him away with hands that trembled just slightly. Enough that Jae-hyun noticed. He noticed everything. It's how he'd stayed alive this long. I'm so sorry, Amara stammered, not meeting his eyes.
He's confused.
We're leaving. She tugged harder. Kai's grip only tightened. But Mommy, you said. Kai. Now. The boy finally let go, but his face crumpled with confusion. Jae-hyun should have walked away. Should have stepped into that elevator and forgotten this ever happened. Instead, he moved sideways, blocking their path to the exit. Wait. Amara froze. Her son pressed against her leg, sensing the shift in atmosphere the way children always did. Jae-hyun crouched down, bringing himself eye level with the boy. Studied that small face with the same intensity he'd use examining contracts for hidden clauses. The slope of the nose. The set of the mouth. The eyes. God, those eyes were mirrors. Look at me, boy. What's your name? Kai. How old are you, Kai? 5. I'll be 6 next month. The math clicked into place like a gun's safety sliding off. Jae-hyun's gaze snapped up to Amara. She'd gone pale, every muscle locked in flight mode. 5 years. That's very specific timing. Around them, the lobby had transformed into a theater. Phones appeared in hands. Whispers built like static. Security guards near the front desk shifted, uncertain whether to intervene when the man involved owned 40% of this hotel. We need to talk. Jae-hyun straightened, his full height suddenly imposing. Now. There's nothing to talk about. Amara's voice shook despite the defiance. This is a mistake. Is it? She tried to step around him. He didn't touch her, didn't need to. Just existed in her path like a wall made of certainty and barely controlled fury. Please, she whispered. Let us go. A security guard finally approached, hand hovering near his radio. Sir, is there a problem? Jae-hyun's eyes never left Amara. No problem. Just reuniting with old friends. He pulled out his phone with one hand, pressed a single contact. His assistant answered on the first ring. Clear my afternoon. Everything. A pause. And Min-soo? Find out everything about her. Full background. Where she's staying. Flight details. I want it in an hour. He ended the call. Slipped the phone back into his pocket with the casual ease of someone who'd just ordered coffee, not surveillance. Before I tell you what happened next, subscribe to Mystic Tale by Luna and comment where you're watching from. Amara's breathing had gone shallow. You can't just. Can't I? Jae-hyun tilted his head slightly. I own this hotel. Half the businesses in this district. And if that boy is what I think he is, then we're well past the point of can't. He's mine. The words came out fierce, maternal. You don't get to claim him just because. Because what? Jae-hyun's voice dropped lower, intimate and dangerous. Because 5 years ago, You disappeared without a word? Because I've spent half a decade wondering if I imagined you. The air between them crackled with history neither wanted to acknowledge in front of witnesses. Kai tugged his mother's hand. Mommy, why is everyone staring? She flinched. Jae-hyun noticed that too. Noticed how protective she curved around the boy. How her thumb rubbed across his knuckles in the universal gesture of comfort. His chest did something uncomfortable again. Penthouse suite. He pulled a keycard from his inner pocket, held it out. 1 hour. Bring the boy. Or I'll come find you both, and trust me, you won't like how public that conversation becomes. Amara stared at the keycard like it might bite. Her hand trembled as she reached for it, fingers brushing his for just a second. The contact sent recognition jolting through his nervous system, muscle memory from a night that had branded itself into his bones despite every effort to forget. She snatched the card back. 1 hour. Then we're done. We'll see about that. She turned, practically dragging Kai toward the main doors. The boy looked back over his shoulder, waving with the innocent friendliness only children possessed. Jae-hyun raised one hand in return. The gesture felt foreign. Uncertain. Fatherhood wasn't supposed to arrive like a bomb in a hotel lobby. The elevator chimed. Doors slid open. He stepped inside, pressed the button for the top floor, and watched the lobby disappear as he ascended. His reflection stared back from polished steel walls. Same scar. Same expensive suit. Different man than the one who'd stepped off the elevator 3 minutes ago. His phone buzzed. Min-soo, efficient as always. Amara Okafor. Nigerian national. Arrived 2 days ago. Staying at the Riverside Inn, room 347. Medical consultant freelance contracts. No criminal record. One dependent. Kai Okafor, age 5. Born March 15th, asterisk. Jae-hyun stopped reading. Did the math again. 9 months before March would be June. 5 years ago, June. The business gala where everything had gone to hell. Where a rival family had tried to kill him in the coat check room. Where a beautiful woman with kind eyes had found him bleeding and helped stitch him up in a penthouse that seemed like a different lifetime. One night. One perfect, reckless night where he'd let his guard down. One consequence he'd never known existed. The elevator opened to his private floor. He walked to the wall of windows overlooking Seoul, the city sprawling beneath gray, October clouds. Poured 3 fingers of whiskey he didn't drink. Just held the glass, feeling its weight, while his mind replayed every moment of that night 5 years ago. Her laugh. The way she'd touched the scar on his ribs with gentle fingers. How she'd fallen asleep with her head on his chest, trusting him in a way no one had before or since. How he'd left before dawn with a note that said forget me because men like him didn't get to keep beautiful things. Apparently, they made them instead. The key card he'd given Amara was tracked. He'd know the moment she used it. Part of him expected her to run. To grab that boy, their boy, God help him, and disappear into Seoul's 12 million souls. But 47 minutes later, the security alert pinged. Penthouse access granted. She came. Jae-hyun set down his untouched whiskey and turned toward the private elevator. Schooled his expression into something neutral. Professional. As if his entire world hadn't just pivoted on the word daddy spoken by a child who had his eyes. The elevator doors opened. Amara stepped out first, Kai clutching her hand. She'd changed clothes, jeans and a simple sweater now instead of the dress from the lobby. Armor disguised as casual wear. Her eyes swept the penthouse with the wariness of someone expecting traps. She wasn't wrong to be cautious. Come in. Jae-hyun gestured to the seating area. Sit. We'll stand. Suit yourself. They stared at each other across 10 feet of imported marble and 5 years of silence. Kai shifted from foot to foot, sensing adult tension, even if he couldn't name it. Min-soo appeared from the side office, tablet in hand. The man was 40-something, loyal since Jae-hyun's father's time, with scarred knuckles and the kind of face that had seen too much. He pulled out his glasses, cleaned them with his pocket square, a nervous tell Jae-hyun had learned to read years ago. Something was wrong. Boss, we have a Minsu's eyes landed on Kai.
Stopped. Blinked. Sir.
Maybe the boy should. The boy stays. Jaehyun's tone left no room for argument. What is it? Minsu's jaw worked. He set the tablet on the glass coffee table, screen up. Security footage. Multiple angles. Timestamps from the past week. Amara and Kai at the airport. Getting into a taxi. Checking into their hotel. Walking through Myeongdong Market. And in every shot, barely visible unless you knew what to look for, a black sedan. Different license plates, same make and model. Always 3 cars back. Always watching. Jaehyun's blood went cold. How long has this been going on? Since she landed. Minsu cleaned his glasses again. Park family. We intercepted chatter this morning. They know about the boy. About the connection. The Parks. Of course it would be them. The rival family that had tried to kill him 5 years ago. The same bastards who'd been probing his territory for weaknesses ever since. And now they'd found one. Amara's voice cut through the tension like broken glass. What are you talking about? Who's been following us? Jaehyun didn't answer. Just kept staring at the surveillance footage, jaw tight enough to crack teeth. Minsu shifted his weight, glasses back on now, reflecting the tablet's glow. Show her. Jaehyun's words came out flat. Minsu hesitated, then turned the tablet toward Amara. She stepped closer, pulling Kai with her. Her eyes scanned the images, once, twice. Color drained from her face.
No.
No, that's just... Seoul has traffic. Coincidence. Watch the timestamps. Minsu tapped the screen, expanding one image. Same vehicle. 7 different locations over 4 days. Professional surveillance. Kai tugged his mother's sleeve. Mommy, what's wrong? Nothing, baby. But her voice shook. We're fine. You're not fine. Jaehyun moved toward them, each step measured. The Parks don't tail people for fun. They're gathering intelligence. Patterns. Vulnerabilities. Amara's hand tightened on Kai's shoulder. Why would anyone care about us? Because of him. Jaehyun pointed at Kai, without looking away from her. Because if he's my son, he's leverage. A weapon they can use against me. The word hung in the air between them. Son. Amara's laugh came out bitter. Your son? You don't even know if. Don't I? Jaehyun closed the distance. Look at him. Really look. Then tell me I'm wrong. She couldn't. Her silence was confirmation enough. Kai pressed closer to his mother's leg, confused by the adults and their sharp words. Jaehyun noticed and consciously softened his stance. Crouched down again, bringing himself to the boy's level. Kai, right? The boy nodded. Do you like games? Yes. Good. There's a room through that door with toys and a big TV. How about you go play while the grown-ups talk? Kai looked up at his mother. She bit her lip, then nodded. Go ahead, baby. I'll be right here. The boy ran off, disappearing into the guest suite. The moment the door closed, Amara rounded on Jaehyun. You have no right to. Is he mine? The question came out raw, unpolished. Tell me the truth. Her chest heaved, eyes bright with unshed tears and 5 years of carrying secrets alone. What makes you think you deserve to know? His eyes. His birthday, I can calculate. The way you're shaking right now. Jaehyun stepped closer. And the fact that you came here instead of running says, you know I already have the answer. Amara wrapped her arms around herself. Defensive. Protecting wounds that never fully healed. That night meant nothing to you. You left before I woke up. A note that said forget me like I was some mistake you needed to erase. The words hit harder than fists. Jaehyun's hands curled into loose fists at his sides. I left because men like me destroy everything we touch. You were supposed to be safe from that. Safe. Her laugh turned sharp. I was pregnant and alone in a foreign country. I came back to Seoul looking for you. Found out you were some kind of... She gestured vaguely at the opulent penthouse, the security feeds, the obvious wealth wrapped in danger. Criminal. So yes, I decided. For both of us. You decided I didn't deserve to know I had a child? You decided I wasn't worth staying for. The shout echoed. Min-soo quietly excused himself to the far office, giving them space. Jae-hyun's jaw worked. 5 years of anger and hurt condensed into this moment. His hand shot out, grabbed a whiskey glass from the side table.
Squeezed.
The glass shattered. Blood welled between his fingers. He didn't flinch. Amara gasped. You're bleeding. I've bled worse. Let me. She moved toward him on instinct, the medical training kicking in despite everything. Then stopped. Remembered who he was. What he was. Jae-hyun watched her war with herself. Saw the exact moment compassion won over caution. She grabbed his wrist, pulled him to the kitchen sink, turned on the water, and guided his hand under the stream. Her fingers were gentle as they plucked glass shards from his palm. Neither spoke. The silence felt like its own kind of conversation. You are always good at this, he said quietly. Fixing things. Some things can't be fixed. But her touch stayed careful. Thorough. Can I at least try? Amara's hands stilled. She looked up at him. Water still running, his blood swirling down the drain. Try what? Being his father. Being someone you don't have to run from. The vulnerability in those words cost him. She could see it in the tension around his eyes, the way he held himself rigid like he expected rejection. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it. It buzzed again. Then again. Answer it. Jae-hyun pulled his hand back, grabbed a dish towel. Amara dried her hands and checked the screen. Her expression shifted. It's my hotel. They're saying someone broke into my room. Police are there. Min-soo reappeared instantly. When? 20 minutes ago. They're asking me to come identify what's missing. Jae-hyun and Min-soo exchanged looks. A silent conversation passed between them in the language of men who'd survived too many close calls. You're not going back there. Jae-hyun's tone left no room for argument. Min-soo, have someone pack their belongings. Everything. Bring it here. Already texting the team, boss. Amara's eyes widened. Excuse me? You can't just. Can't I? Jae-hyun's voice hardened. Someone broke into your hotel room the same day we discovered you're being followed. You think that's coincidence too? She opened her mouth. Closed it. The reality of danger settling in her bones. They're looking for information, Min-soo added, cleaning his glasses again. Passports, maybe. Documents. Anything that confirms the connection to you, boss. We're leaving. Amara moved toward the guest suite. Tonight. Back to Lagos. This is insane. Jae-hyun blocked her path. The parks have international reach. Lagos, London, New York, they have people everywhere. Running puts a target on your back. His back. And staying with you doesn't? Staying with me means protection. Resources. The ability to end this threat instead of just hiding from it. Amara's breath came faster. Panic creeping in around the edges. I don't need your protection. Min-soo cleared his throat. Ma'am, if I may. He pulled up another video on his tablet. This is from your hotel's parking garage. 30 minutes ago. The footage showed 2 men in dark clothes examining her rental car. One crouched by the wheel well, attached something small and black. A tracker. The other kept watch, hand inside his jacket where a weapon would rest. Amara's legs seemed to forget how to hold her weight. She sank onto the nearest bar stool. They know where you're staying, what you're driving, your routines. Jae-hyun's voice softened slightly. In my world, that's the pre-attack checklist. They're not gathering intelligence anymore. They're preparing. For what? To take him. Use him as leverage to control me. Or, he stopped. Or what? Min-soo answered instead. Or eliminate him as a potential heir. Some families prefer to cut threats before they grow. The words hung like a death sentence. Amara's hand flew to her mouth. Jae-hyun saw the exact moment a mother's fear overrode everything else. How do I keep him safe? Her voice broke. You let me move you to my compound. Secure location. Armed guards. No one gets in without clearance. He paused. And you tell me everything. When he was born. Medical history. Allergies. Everything I should have known for 5 years. Tears spilled over. Amara wiped them away angrily. I can't believe this is happening. Believe it. Jae-hyun moved to the window, staring out at Seoul's sprawl. And decide fast. Every minute you're exposed is another chance for them to strike. If you do the same thing, subscribe to Mystic Tale by Luna, and tell me where you're watching from. The guest suite door opened. Kai poked his head out, clutching a toy car he'd found. Mommy, can we get dinner? I'm hungry. Both adults turned to him. The innocence on that small face was a knife to Jae-hyun's chest. 5 years of bedtimes missed. First words. First steps. The weight of absence pressed down. Amara forced a smile. Soon, baby. Just a few more minutes. Kai nodded and retreated. The door clicked shut. March 15th. Amara said suddenly. 3:15 in the morning. 17 hours of labor. He was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. Allergic to shellfish. We found out the hard way when he was 3. Loves dinosaurs and space. Hates broccoli. Sleeps with the lights on because he's afraid of the dark. Each detail landed like a gift. Jae-hyun absorbed them, filing them away in whatever part of his brain stored things too precious to forget. Thank you. Don't. She held up a hand. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for him. Because you're right, I can't protect him alone. Not from this. Then pack light. We leave in 20 minutes. Where?
My compound.
Gangnam Hills. 30-minute drive. Amara laughed without humor. Of course you have a compound. Min-soo's phone buzzed. He checked it, expression darkening.
Boss.
Detective Choi is here. Says it's urgent. Send him up. 2 minutes later, the private elevator opened again. The man who stepped out looked like he'd aged a decade in the past week. Detective Choi, 50-something, wedding ring catching the light as he rolled it nervously around his finger. We've got a problem. Choi dropped a file folder on the counter. Photos spilled out. Parks aren't just watching. They've been buying information. Your routes. Security protocols. Shift changes. Jae-hyun flipped through the images. His own compound, photographed from multiple angles. Guard positions marked. Weak points circled in red. How compromised. Enough that I'd consider alternative locations. Choi's ring rolled faster. And there's more. They know about the woman and the kid. It's not just suspicion anymore. Someone talked. Amara's blood ran cold.
Who? Working on that.
Choi's eyes flicked to her, assessing. You're the medical consultant from Lagos. I'm nobody. Her voice came out hollow. Yeah, well, nobody just became the park's primary target. Choi pulled out another photo. Kai at the airport, circled in red marker. They've put a bounty on information about the boy. 50 million won. That kind of money makes people creative. Jae-hyun's fist hit the counter hard enough to rattle glasses. Who leaked the connection? Still investigating. Choi's ring rolled 3 times. A tell Jae-hyun recognized. The detective was lying.
Or at least holding something back.
But you need to move her. Tonight. And not to your compound. Too exposed. Then where? Safe house in Incheon. Near the docks. Industrial area. I've used it before for witnesses. That's an hour from here. Too far if we need backup. It's also unknown to anyone outside my unit. Your compound? They've got blueprints. Choi tapped the photos. Choose between convenience and survival. Min-soo interrupted, phone to his ear. Boss, team secured their belongings from the hotel. 3 bags. Some clothes were missing. Possibly taken. Amara swayed. My blue dress. Kai's stuffed elephant. Trophies, Choi said grimly. Proof they were there. Message to you that they can get close. Jae-hyun made the decision. Compound first. Tonight. Tomorrow we reassess. Min-soo, I want triple security. Rotating shifts. No one in or out without biometric confirmation. On it. Amara stood abruptly. I need to talk to Kai. Explain something. Not everything, but something. Tell him it's an adventure, Jae-hyun suggested. Kids understand adventures. He also understands fear. And I won't lie to him more than I have to. She disappeared into the guest suite. Choi waited until she was gone. You sure about this? Bringing them into your world. They're already in it. Have been since the moment she got pregnant. Fatherhood doesn't suit everyone. Neither does loneliness. Jae-hyun's voice dropped. Find who leaked. I want a name by morning. And when you get it, then we remind the parks why crossing me is expensive. Choi's ring stilled. Don't start a war over this. They started it when they put eyes on my son. The detective left without another word. Min-soo busied himself with logistics, barking orders into his phone. Jae-hyun poured himself another whiskey. Drank it this time. The burn was familiar.
Grounding.
Amara emerged 10 minutes later, Kai in fresh clothes and clutching his jacket. The boy's eyes were wide, but not scared. Curious. Are we really going to a castle?
Kai asked.
Jae-hyun raised an eyebrow at Amara. She shrugged. I said it was like a castle. Big and safe. It has koi ponds, Jae-hyun offered, crouching again. Trying this father thing. And a training room where people practice martial arts. Kai's face lit up. Like ninjas? Something like that.
Cool.
Min-soo appeared with 3 black duffel bags. Vehicles are ready. Armored SUV, 2 escort cars. Route is randomized. Good. Jae-hyun stood, grabbed one of the bags. Let's move. They rode the private elevator down to the underground garage. 3 black vehicles waited, engines running, armed men in tactical gear flanking them. Amara's grip on Kai tightened. This was real. Bulletproof glass and body armor real. Jae-hyun opened the rear door of the center SUV. Middle seat. Safest position. She climbed in, Kai scrambling after her. Jae-hyun slid in beside them. Min-soo took the front passenger seat. The driver was young, focused, earpiece in. All units check in. Min-soo's voice was crisp. Radio chatter confirmed positions. Lead car.
Tail car.
Spotters at key intersections. The convoy pulled out. Seoul at night was neon and shadow. They took surface streets, avoiding major highways. Amara watched the city blur past, trying to process how her simple consulting trip had exploded into armed escorts and safe houses. Kai pressed his face to the window. Look, Mommy. The lights are pretty. Her heart cracked. He was 5. Should be worried about homework and bedtime stories. Not men with guns and families who killed children for politics. Jae-hyun's hand moved, hesitated, then settled gently on Kai's head, ruffled his hair. The boy looked up and grinned. You're really my dad? The question was innocent, devastating. Jae-hyun's throat worked. Yes. Okay, that's cool. Just like that. A child's acceptance, simple and complete. Amara's tears came silent, tracking down her cheeks in the dark interior. Jae-hyun saw. His hand shifted from Kai to her shoulder. Just rested there. Warm and solid and promising protection he might not be able to deliver. But God, he died trying. The lead car's radio crackled. Contact. Black sedan, 2 vehicles back. Matching surveillance profile. Min-soo tensed. Confirmed visual? Affirmative. They're pacing us. Jae-hyun's jaw set. Lose them. Now. Hold on. The driver yanked the wheel hard right. The SUV's tires screamed protest as they carved through a narrow alley. Amara grabbed Kai, pressing him against her chest. Jae-hyun's arms shot across both of them, bracing against the seat. Behind them, the black sedan followed. Headlights strobing through the rear window. Second tail joining. The lead car reported. Gray van, eastern approach. Min-soo cursed under his breath. They boxed us. Tunnel ahead, the driver announced. Maintenance access. We can lose them underground. Do it. The SUV plunged down a concrete ramp. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting everything in sickly yellow. The tunnel was service access, narrow, utilitarian, designed for vehicles half this size. Gunfire erupted. The rear window cracked but held. Bulletproof glass doing its job. Kai screamed. Amara covered his ears, her own voice lost in the chaos. Return fire. Jaehyun's command cut through the noise. The tail car's windows dropped. Muzzle flashes lit the tunnel. The pursuing sedan swerved, hit a support column. Metal shrieked. Sparks cascaded. But the gray van was still coming. Side exit, 200 meters. Min-soo pointed ahead. The driver accelerated. 80. 90. The tunnel walls blurred. Then sunlight, brief, blinding, as they burst through a service door onto a commercial street. Pedestrians scattered. Horns blared. The convoy weaved through traffic with mechanical precision. Lost them, the tail car confirmed. No pursuit visible. Jaehyun's breathing slowed. He looked down at Kai, still pressed against Amara's chest, small body trembling. We're okay. It's over. Those were fireworks? Kai's voice was small, disbelieving. Very loud fireworks. Jaehyun's tone gentled. I'm sorry you had to hear that. Amara's eyes burned into him. This is your world. Violence.
Fear. Death.
It's mine, but it doesn't have to be his. He met her gaze. Let me end this. The compound rose from Gangnam Hills like a fortress, pretending to be a home. Traditional Korean architecture merged with modern security, curved roofs and stone walls hiding cameras, sensors, armed patrols. The main gate required biometric scanning. 3 layers of verification before the iron doors swung open. Kai's fear melted into wonder. Whoa. The interior courtyard held a koi pond, water lilies floating under moonlight. Cherry trees lined stone paths. In the distance, a traditional dojo stood separate from the main house. It's beautiful, Amara admitted reluctantly. It's a prison with better decorating. Jaehyun stepped out first, scanning surroundings on instinct. But it's safe. For now. Min-soo directed guards to secure the perimeter. Additional men appeared. 8, 10, 12, all armed, all moving with the efficiency of military training. The compound transformed into a hardened target in minutes. A woman emerged from the main house. Late 50s, gray streaking her black hair, wearing a hanbok that somehow made her look both traditional and formidable.
Her face softened when she saw Kai.
So, this is the boy everyone's talking about. Mrs. Han, our head housekeeper, Jaehyun introduced. She's been with the family 30 years. Mrs. Han bowed slightly to Amara. Welcome. I've prepared the East Wing guest suite. 3 rooms, sitting area, bedroom, and a smaller room for the child. Thank you. Amara's voice was exhausted. And perhaps the young man would like some tteokbokki? My grandson loves them. Kai perked up. What's that? Rice cakes in spicy sauce. I can make them mild. Can I, Mommy? Amara nodded. Mrs. Han extended her hand. Kai took it without hesitation, chattering questions as she led him toward the kitchen. The housekeeper's trait was instant. She treated children like small adults, answering Kai's endless questions with genuine interest instead of patronizing deflection. Alone now, the silence between Amara and Jaehyun felt heavier. Your room is this way. He gestured toward the east wing. She followed, footsteps echoing on polished wood. The guest suite was elegant, minimalist furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the garden, a low table with cushions for tea. The kind of space that costs more per night than most people's monthly rent. Bathroom through there. Closet has basics if you need them. Mrs. Han will have your belongings brought up. Amara sank onto the bed's edge. How long do we stay here? Until the threat is neutralized. And how long is that? I don't know. Honesty, at least. Days. Maybe weeks. She laughed bitterly. I have a life.
Work.
Contracts. I'll compensate you. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? Frustration edged his voice. I want my son to be safe without needing armed guards and bulletproof glass. I want. Her voice cracked. I want to go back to 3 days ago when the biggest problem was jet lag. Jaehyun crossed the room. Sat beside her. Careful not to touch. I can't give you that. But I can give you this. Every resource I have goes toward protecting him. And you.
Why?
She turned to face him. You didn't even know he existed until today. Didn't I? He pulled out his phone, scrolled to a folder, handed it to her. Amara's hands shook as she swiped through images. Kai at 2 years old, playing in a Legos park. At 3, first day of preschool. At 4, birthday party with a dinosaur cake. Dozens of photos spanning years. You've been watching us. Protecting you. From a distance. Jaehyun's voice was quiet. I suspected after I saw a medical record from a hospital in Nigeria. Woman matching your description. Emergency C-section. Timing that aligned. I had someone investigate. Quietly. You knew for 6 months and said nothing? Because you ran from me once. I thought, maybe you were right to. Maybe he was better off without me in his life. Amara's anger warred with something else. Something dangerously close to understanding. What changed?
He called me daddy.
And I couldn't walk away. The vulnerability in those words was a crack in armor she'd thought impenetrable. She saw the man from 5 years ago, wounded and desperate and human beneath all the control. I'm scared, she whispered. So am I. Mrs. Han's voice drifted from the kitchen, followed by Kai's laughter. The sound was oxygen to drowning lungs. He's happy, Amara noted. Kids are resilient. He'll have questions. Real ones, not the adventure story I sold him. Then we answer them together. Jaehyun stood. Get some rest. Tomorrow we start figuring out who betrayed us. He left before she could respond. The door closed with a soft click. Amara pulled out her phone. 3 missed calls from her sister in Lagos. 12 texts asking if she was okay, if the contract was going well, when she'd be home. How did you explain that home had become a fortress, and your 5-year-old's father was a criminal who might be the only thing standing between your son and death? You didn't. You said the contract was extended and promised to call soon. She lay back on the bed, staring at ceiling shadows cast by garden lights. Sleep felt impossible, but exhaustion claimed her anyway. Have you ever felt torn between safety and love? Comment your experience, and where you're watching from. Morning arrived with autumn sun filtering through paper screens. Amara woke to the smell of coffee and something cooking. Ventured out to find Kai already awake, sitting at the low table with Jaehyun. Both were eating rice and soup. Both had the same way of holding their spoons. Mommy. Kai's face lit up. Daddy's teaching me how to use chopsticks. The casual use of daddy was a knife to her chest. But Kai looked happy. Safe. That had to count for something. Good morning. Jaehyun's greeting was careful. Mrs. Han made breakfast. American style too, if you prefer. Korean is fine. She settled beside Kai, accepting the bowl Mrs. Han offered. They ate in surprisingly comfortable silence. Kai filled the gaps with stories about the koi pond, the cool swords in the dojo, how Mrs. Han's grandson was 7 and knew taekwondo. After breakfast, Jaehyun stood. Kai, want to see the training room? Yes. Get your shoes. The boys scrambled off. Amara caught Jaehyun's arm. Don't teach him violence. I'm teaching him confidence. There's a difference. The dojo was wood and mirrors, and the smell of old sweat transformed into something almost sacred. Training equipment lined the walls. A heavy bag hung in the corner. Padded mats covered the floor. Kai's eyes went wide. This is so cool. First rule. Always bow when entering and leaving. It shows respect. Jaehyun demonstrated. Kai copied him, bowing with exaggerated seriousness. They started with stances. Feet apart. Knees bent. Hands up. Jaehyun moved with controlled power, each motion precise. Kai mimicked him, gangly and awkward but trying.
Good.
Now, Jaehyun adjusted Kai's shoulders. Straight back. Strong core. Like this? Perfect. Amara watched from the doorway. The careful way Jaehyun touched their son, like Kai was made of glass. The patience in his corrections. The ghost of a smile when Kai got something right. Harder than it looks, isn't it? Minsu appeared beside her, cleaning his glasses. What is fatherhood? Boss has faced down armed gangs without blinking. but a 5-year-old terrifies him. He's doing okay. He's trying. That's more than most would. Min-soo settled his glasses back on his nose. He was different after that night 5 years ago. Quieter. Like something broke that we couldn't see. I didn't mean to. Not blaming you. Just explaining. He's not good at people. At connection. But for the boy. Min-soo gestured to the dojo. He'd burn the world. Inside, Kai fell while attempting a kick. Hit the mat hard. His face crumpled, tears threatening. Jae-hyun froze, panic flashing across his features. Then he knelt, pulled a first aid kit from seemingly nowhere. Let me see. Kai showed him a scraped knee. Nothing serious. But Jae-hyun treated it like major surgery. Careful cleaning, gentle bandaging, soft words. You're good at this, Kai observed. Your mother taught me. Once. Kai threw small arms around Jae-hyun's neck. Unexpected. Total. The kind of hug only children gave, holding nothing back. Jae-hyun's eyes closed. His arms came up slowly, carefully, like he was afraid the boy would shatter. When he opened his eyes again, they were bright with something dangerous. Love. Undefended and terrifying. Amara's own tears came silent. 5 years of telling herself Kai was better off without his father. 5 years of being wrong. The moment broke when Min-soo's phone buzzed. His expression darkened as he read the message. Boss, you need to see this. They reconvened in Jae-hyun's office, dark wood and leather chairs, and a wall of screens showing security feeds. Mrs. Han took Kai to the pond to feed fish, distracting him from adult tension. Min-soo pulled up a video file. This came from our source inside the park organization. The footage showed a meeting. Expensive suits around a conference table. And at the head, Young Tae-won, Jae-hyun's own underboss. No. Jae-hyun's voice went flat. Dangerous. On screen, Tae-won spoke to park lieutenants. Audio was garbled, but the slideshow behind him was clear, photos of Amara. Of Kai. Of Jae-hyun's compound with weak points circled in red. When was this recorded? Last night. 2 hours before the tunnel ambush. Amara's hand flew to her mouth. Someone in your organization set us up? Not just someone. Jae-hyun's jaw could cut glass. My second in command. Min-soo's glasses came off. Cleaned. His tell. Taewon's been with us 8 years. I vetted him myself. Money or ambition? Jae-hyun asked. Both, probably. Parks offered him your territory in exchange for information. Where is he now? Our building. Downtown office. He doesn't know we know yet. Jae-hyun stood. Grabbed a jacket. Bring him here. Boss, maybe we should. Bring him here. Each word was a death sentence. Min-soo nodded. Left to make arrangements. Amara found her voice. What are you going to do? What's necessary? You're going to kill him. He tried to kill you. My son. That's not something you walk away from. She should have been horrified. Should have argued for law, for justice, for anything except cold execution. But when she looked at Kai through the window, laughing as koi fish nibbled his fingers, all she felt was a mother's ruthless mathematics. Anyone who endangered her child deserved whatever came next. Will it stop the Parks? No. But it'll remind everyone what happens when you cross me. Jae-hyun moved to the window. Seoul sprawled below, glittering and oblivious. And once Taewon talks, we'll have the intelligence we need to hit them first. Then what? Then we end this. Permanently. His reflection in the glass was all hard edges and colder purpose. The man who gently bandaged Kai's knee was gone, replaced by something carved from violence and necessity. But when Kai's laughter drifted through the window, Jae-hyun's expression softened just slightly. Just enough. I'm sorry you're seeing this side of me, he said quietly. I saw it 5 years ago. The blood on your cuff at that gala. I knew what you were. And you stayed anyway. For one night, I thought I could separate the man from the monster. Could you? Amara moved beside him, looking out at her son. I'm starting to think they're the same person. And maybe that's okay. Boss, we have him. Min-soo's voice crackled through the intercom. Jae-hyun pressed the button. Bring him to the lower level. Amara watched him move with purpose, checking a gun's magazine, sliding it into a shoulder holster. The domesticity of breakfast felt like a fever dream now. Stay with Kai. Don't come downstairs. I wasn't planning to, but something in her tone made him pause. You think I'm a monster. I think you're a father doing what fathers do. Protecting their children. She met his eyes. Just don't become the thing we're hiding from. He left without responding. The lower level was concrete and fluorescent lights. Soundproofed. Young Tae-won sat zip-tied to a metal chair, blood trickling from his nose where Min-soo's men had convinced him to cooperate. His slicked hair was disheveled now. The three-tap pen habit impossible with bound hands. You made a mistake, Tae-won said when Jae-hyun entered. The Parks will. Jae-hyun's fist broke his sentence and his lip. You sold out a child. My child. Tae-won spat blood. Your child is your weakness. The elders see it. Everyone sees it. Then everyone can watch what happens to traitors. Jae-hyun pulled a chair close. Saturday. Who else is working with the Parks? Like I tell you. Min-soo stepped forward, something metal glinting in his hand. Boss, let me.
No.
Jae-hyun held up a hand. He'll talk. Because he's smart enough to know this ends one of two ways. Quick or very slow. Tae-won's bravado cracked. They offered me territory. Real power, not scraps from your table. And all it cost was the life of a 5-year-old. He's a complication. A liability that makes you vulnerable. He makes me dangerous. Jae-hyun leaned closer. Because now I have something worth burning the world for. You miscalculated. The Parks will kill you.
Kill her. Kill.
Where are they keeping their weapon shipments? Jae-hyun's voice dropped to something glacial. The ones coming through Incheon port. Where's the staging ground? Tae-won's eyes widened. How did you? I've known about their smuggling operation for months. Just couldn't prove warehouse location. But you can. Jae-hyun smiled without warmth. Because they need to show you. Build trust.
Where is it?
Silence stretched. Then Tae-won's shoulder sagged. Warehouse 12. South Dock. Concrete building with blue roof. Guard count. 8 during day. 15 at night. Good. Jae-hyun stood. Looked at Min-soo. Lock him up. No food, no water. We'll decide what to do with him after this is finished. You're going after them? Tae-won's laugh was ragged. They'll be expecting retaliation. It's suicide. Then I'll die making sure my son is safe. Jae-hyun walked toward the door. Stopped. You know what's funny? I would have given you territory. A real position. All you had to do was stay loyal. To what? A man who went soft over a woman.
No.
To a man who finally found something worth being better for. Upstairs, Amara had Kai drawing at the low table. Crayon dinosaurs covered paper. The normalcy felt obscene against what was happening below. Jae-hyun appeared in the doorway. Can we talk? She followed him to the garden. Koi circled lazily below, oblivious to human drama playing out above. I'm going after the Parks. Tonight. That's insane. It's necessary. Every hour we wait, they plan. We hit first, we control the outcome. Or you die, and leave Kai without a father he just found. Her voice shook. Stay here. Let your men handle it. My men will be with me. But I lead from the front. Always have. That was before you had a son. It's because I have a son that I'm going. I won't sit in a fortress while other men fight my battles. He cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. If something happens, don't. If something happens, Min-soo has instructions.
Money. Passports.
Everything you need to disappear. There's a villa in Portugal. Documents are in the safe upstairs. Code is Kai's birthday, 0315. Tears spilled over. You're really doing this? I have to. She grabbed his shirt, pulled him close, kissed him hard and desperate and 5 years too late. He responded with equal fervor, arms wrapping around her waist, anchoring her against him. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "Come back," she whispered. "You promised to try. Don't make me a liar to our son." "I'll come back." He pressed his forehead to hers. "For both of you." Night fell fast. Jae-hyun armed himself with clinical precision: guns, knives, vest, extra magazines. Min-soo and 8 men prepared in the courtyard. All veterans. All loyal. Mrs. Han kept Kai occupied in the kitchen, teaching him to make rice balls. The boys' laughter drifted through walls like a talisman. Amara appeared as Jae-hyun checked his weapons one final time. She held something, a photo. The one from 5 years ago, pressed flowers still preserved in its frame. "You kept this." "I kept everything from that night." He took the frame, stared at their younger selves. "It was the last time I felt human." "Then stay human." For him. He set the photo down. Pulled her close again, this kiss gentler. A promise instead of goodbye. "If I'm not back by dawn, you'll be back." She said it like a command. The convoy left without ceremony. 3 vehicles disappearing into Seoul's neon sprawl. Amara watched from the garden until the taillights vanished, then went inside where her son was laughing, and the world still pretended to be safe. Incheon port at midnight was shipping containers and fog rolling off the Yellow Sea. Warehouse 12 squatted among its brothers, concrete, blue roof, exactly as Taewon described. Jae-hyun and his team approached from the water side.
Silent.
Lethal. Min-soo signed. 8 guards visible, patterns predictable. Shift change in 20 minutes. They moved during the vulnerability. Suppressed shots dropped 2 perimeter guards. The team split, foregoing high through roof access, 5 entering ground level. Inside, the warehouse was stacked crates and the smell of gun oil. Park soldiers moved among the shipment, checking inventory. Jae-hyun spotted the office. 2nd floor, glass walls, where men in suits discussed business over whiskey. Mr. Park himself sat at the head of the table. "Now," Jae-hyun whispered into his radio. Chaos erupted. Flashbangs.
Gunfire.
Park soldiers scrambled for weapons. Jae-hyun's team moved with surgical efficiency, controlled bursts, targeting legs when possible, fatal shots when necessary. A bullet caught Jae-hyun's shoulder. He grunted, kept moving. Min-soo appeared beside him, covering his advance. They fought through to the office stairs. Bodies behind them, blood on concrete. The math of survival playing out in brass casings. The office door exploded inward. Mr. Park stood behind his desk, gun drawn. 2 bodyguards flanked him. "You've made a terrible mistake," Park said calmly. Still speaking in proverbs even now. "A tree that stands alone falls in the storm." "Then it's good I'm not alone." Jae-hyun raised his weapon. Gunfire. Park's guards dropped. Park himself took a bullet to the leg, collapsed. Jae-hyun closed the distance. Pressed his gun to Park's temple. "Call off your dogs. Every person you have watching my family, following my movements, planning attacks. Call them off or die here." Park laughed through pain. "Kill me and my nephews will hunt you forever."
Maybe.
"But you won't be alive to see it." Jae-hyun's finger tightened on the trigger. "Wait." Park's composure cracked. "I have information. About your father." Jae-hyun froze. "My father is dead. 10 years. That's what you were told." Park smiled bloodily. "But men like him don't die easily. They hide. Plan. Wait for the right moment." "You're lying." "Am I?" "Check your messages. Detective Choi has been trying to reach you for an hour." Min-soo's voice crackled through the radio. "Boss, we have a problem. Choi says there's movement at the compound. Multiple vehicles approaching." Jae-hyun's blood went cold. "How many?" "Unknown. But Amara and the boy." He didn't wait for the rest. Bolted from the office, leaving Min-soo to secure Park. Ran through the warehouse, past bodies, past the wreckage of battle. The drive back to Gangnam was eternity compressed into 30 minutes. Radio chatter painted nightmare scenarios, breach attempts, gunfire, Mrs. Han activating panic protocols. They arrived to smoke and shattered gates. Bodies in the courtyard, Park soldiers, Jae-hyun's guards, carnage, without discrimination. Kai. Jae-hyun's roar echoed. Amara. Min-soo grabbed his arm. Panic room. They'd go to the panic room. They ran. Through halls. Past broken furniture. The panic room door was steel, untouched. Jae-hyun entered his code. Nothing. Locked from inside. He pounded on the door. It's me. Open up. Silence. Then locks disengaging. The door swung open. Amara stood there, Kai clutched against her. Both streaked with soot but breathing. Behind them, Mrs. Han held a shotgun with casual competence. You came back. Amara's voice broke. I promised. Jae-hyun pulled them into his arms. Kai's small body fit against his chest like a missing piece. I'm here. Daddy. Kai's tears soaked his tactical vest. The bad men came but Mommy and Mrs. Han kept me safe. She shot one, Amara said shakily. Mrs. Han shot 2 of them. The housekeeper shrugged. I raised 3 sons in this life. You learn. Min-soo appeared in the doorway. Compound is secure. All hostiles neutralized. We lost 4 men. Jae-hyun's grip on his family tightened. Get medical. And call Choi. Tell him we have Park. He can collect him from the warehouse. The aftermath was blood and paperwork. Detective Choi arrived with a small army of police, cleaning up a gang war that would be explained as territorial dispute in tomorrow's news. Park was arrested, Tae-won handed over to authorities. The compound would take weeks to fully repair. But sunrise found them in the garden, Jae-hyun, Amara, and Kai watching koi surface for feeding. The boy threw pellets with the seriousness of ritual. Is it over? Amara asked. The immediate threat, yes. Park's operation is broken. His nephews might make noise, but without leadership, they'll fold. And Tae-won. Prison. Long sentence. He'll talk to reduce time, which gives Choi ammunition against Park's remaining allies. Kai ran over, tackle-hugged Jae-hyun's legs. Can we have pancakes? With chocolate chips. Yes. Then yes. Jae-hyun ruffled his hair. Looked at Amara. What about you? What do you want? She was quiet for a long moment. I want normal. Whatever that looks like now. I can't promise normal. But I can promise trying. That's enough. She leaned against his shoulder, watching their son chase butterflies. For now, that's enough. But as Kai laughed and the sun climbed higher, Jae-hyun's phone buzzed. Detective Choi's message was simple. Asterisk Park wasn't lying. Your father is alive. We need to talk. Asterisk. The world tilted. A past he thought buried clawing back to life. Amara felt him tense. What's wrong? Jae-hyun looked at her, at Kai, at the fragile peace they'd fought for. Nothing. Just work. He'd deal with his father later. Right now, this moment was sacred. His son's laughter, the woman he'd never stopped loving, and the dangerous gift of a second chance. Behind them, the compound walls stood broken but reparable. Like families. Like trust. Like men who learned that sometimes the hardest battle was allowing yourself to be loved. Kai ran back, grabbed both their hands. Come on. The fish are hungry. They followed. Together. For now, that was victory enough.